Their qualifying performance was less than stellar, particularly Oscar Piastri looked like he was struggling throughout the sprint qualifying sessions and the Grand Prix qualifying sessions. Of course, they had that disastrous collision in the sprint, walking away with 0 points from that race. Now, I think McLaren were quite relieved that you couldn't really pin the blame on either of the McLaren drivers. Then when it came to the Grand Prix, I mean, Lando missing out on pole again. Oscar was nowhere near the pace either as well. I mean, are the cracks starting to show? I mean, I think we've been quite critical of Lando's position throughout the course of the season, but is the pressure getting to Oscar now as well and getting to the wider team?
Yeah, I think it is. I think just firstly, I think McLaren will be pretty relieved that that crash happened in the sprint rather than the Grand Prix because, coming away from the weekend, yes, they've obviously lost a huge amount of points to Verstappen as a whole, but had that been in the Grand Prix, they would have, lost a huge amount of ground. Whereas in the end, they only lost 8 points as it were to Verstappen there. But I do think the wheels are sort of starting to come off a little bit at McLaren. I do think there'll be some sort of the alarm bells will be going off because it's not the first weekend now that they've struggled for pace in the car. They've not won a Grand Prix since the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, and for the last few races they've genuinely been sort of behind Verstappen. And more concerning leads in this Grand Prix, obviously, Norris has lost second place to Charles at the start, and I think maybe things would have been different had he been able to be in second place, and maybe he'd have been able to give Verstappen a bit more of a fight. But fundamentally, the McLaren were fighting with Ferrari and almost Mercedes rather than Red Bull.